Alright, what is going on, guys? Today I'm going to be making a video reviewing the Retrobit Prism cables for the Nintendo Gamecube. If you guys own one of these consoles, you probably know that the video quality isn't super great, and that's usually because of the composite cables that came standard with all Gamecubes, and that's the yellow, white, and red. With those, all of your video is being sent down the yellow cable, so you have basically all your colors, your sync, everything being sent down one cable, which is basically asking for there to be a lot of interference and just not a very clean, sharp picture. So Component is probably the best you can get on most consumer CRTs, at least here in America. Over in Europe, there's RGB SCART, and in Japan, there's JP21, I think it's called. Those usually support RGB, which is probably the best quality you're gonna get. But over here in America, we're basically stuck with this unless you have like a PVM or, you know, some upscaler like an OSSC or RetroTink or something like that. So if you guys are into GameCube stuff, you probably know how expensive the official component cables are for the GameCube, and that's mainly because the cables themselves have an actual like decoder in here which converts the signal from the console to component video. So it's not just a normal cable like the composite ones are. It actually has some proprietary chip in here that converts the signal to work with a TV. It took a very long time for other companies to kind of reverse engineer that and make their own. But that's what this is. So this ends up being a lot cheaper than the official cables. Official ones usually go for around $300 to $350. These are $60. So if you have a GameCube and you want the best quality out of it, this is probably your best bet unless you want to pay a crazy amount of money. And something else to note, it says it up here, this will only work with DOL001 GameCubes that have this little port here next to the AV out. If it doesn't have that, there's not really a whole lot you can do, except for there's probably mods that let you kind of restore component functionality or RGB. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. But for the most part, if you have one of the original GameCubes with that port, you'll be alright. Anyway, when you open the box, you get this this bag here. On the top, it basically just kind of tells you how to use it. Not very difficult. But here's the cables themselves. Here's the actual cables that you receive. They look relatively similar to the official ones, and I mean, they work pretty much just as good. I haven't seen any comparisons with official and unofficial component cables, but I'd assume it's almost identical. If there's any difference, it's like very, very minuscule. And something that this actually has over the original is it lets you use audio out directly from this. Because on the original component cables, it was only these three wires, and you had to connect the composite cables for audio, which is a little weird, but with this it just has everything included, so you don't have to worry about any of that. But anyway, on the screen right now I'll show some comparisons with the composite cables that came with the console versus these. The quality is like significantly better in most cases. I don't know how well it's going to show on camera, just because even if you match, you know, the shutter speed and everything with a CRT, it's still not 100%, so there's going to be some like tearing and things that it's not going to look super great. But in person, the difference is like night and day. It almost looks like you're putting glasses on because the component cables are that much sharper. Also, I made sure the settings on my TV were identical between the two inputs, but component still comes out just a little bit darker. So I don't know if that's something with the cables themselves, or if there's just something with the inputs on my TV. But that is definitely a difference I want to put out there, so it's not like a 100% one-to-one comparison, but it's as close as I could get it, and even then, Component just beats it, like, easily. But anyway, if you guys are looking for a way to get better video quality out of your GameCube, This is probably the cheapest option and the one I'd recommend the most. There's also always the option of just using a Wii with those component cables because they're a lot easier to come by. But if you want to use an original GameCube console, this is pretty much the best option you have, unless you want to spend $300 for the official cables. There are also some D-terminal cables from Japan, which are wired up almost identically to component. You just need to get an adapter. And those usually go for around $100. The adapters are like $20. If you want like an official cable that's not, you know, a retro bit, or I think there's another company that made some, I'm not 100% sure what they're called. But if you want the official cables, that's your cheapest option. But from what I can tell from the research I've done, there's like almost no quality difference between the official and unofficial ones. So it's not super worth it unless you're like a purist who wants the original everything. Yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video at all and found this at all interesting, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out. Also, I don't know if I mentioned this in a video yet, but I just wanted to say thank you guys for 500 subscribers. I just hit it a couple weeks ago, and yeah, ever since I uploaded like the room tour, like my past 2 or 3 videos have been doing like really good. And I just wanted to say thank you guys for watching and commenting and leaving likes and doing all that. But yeah, anyway, I guess I will see you guys later. Goodbye.